Good afternoon, Lynn Thayer here, and today I just want to dive in and talk a little bit about your powerful unconscious mind. You know that you have one, right? Yes, I'm sure that you know that by now. There's a lot of information on the internet and out there about the unconscious mind. One of the books that I've read that is a great resource is a book by Bruce Lipton, Dr. Bruce Lipton, and it's called The Biology of Belief. So if you have not read that book, I do suggest that you pick that up. You can find it on Amazon. And so let's talk first about who controls the mind, right? So who controls your mind and your unconscious mind? So in simple terms, Bruce Lipton states that the mind is divided into two main aspects. And of course, you've heard we have both the conscious mind and the unconscious mind, or a lot of people call it the subconscious mind, right? Below. In my teachings, they always taught us to say the unconscious mind because it's outside of our conscious awareness. And yet the unconscious mind is actually even more powerful. It's greater than the conscious mind. So we don't want to put it below. It's actually kind of above in our terms, in our teachings. So the conscious mind is made up of more of our surface thoughts, our wishes, desires, maybe our aspirations. The unconscious mind is the realm of our automatic and our habitual thought patterns and our beliefs. And so the unconscious is the stuff that we don't even realize that we're doing sometimes. It's just so automatic. And so if we're driving along the highway and maybe you're talking to a friend in your passenger seat, our conscious mind is the one that's engaged in that conversation. But our unconscious mind is the one who keeps automatically driving the vehicle, right? And sometimes you might miss the exit, or even if there's nobody in your car, you might miss the exit because you're just on such automatic pilot and you're actually in a state of hypnosis. When you're doing that, whether you're driving the car, whether you're really engaged in a TV show or in a movie, and everything kind of outside of that experience is not even in your conscious awareness, right? So, excuse me, right now, your conscious mind is listening to me speak, hearing the words that I'm saying, but your unconscious mind is doing everything else for you. It's breathing for you. If you've had something to eat, it's digesting your food right now outside your conscious awareness. You don't have to think about digesting your food. Your unconscious mind takes care of that for you. It's beating your heart, right? So all of those automatic things that your body's doing, the unconscious mind is totally in charge of that. But now, where do our unconscious thoughts and patterns come from? Okay, so most of our unconscious programming comes from the first 7 years of our life, from the last trimester of pregnancy up to the age of around 7 years old. And we exist mostly in what's called theta brainwave space, aka hypnosis, which is the most receptive space for our unconscious mind. And we are essentially sponges during that age time. Have you ever noticed if you have kids or if you have grandkids, you know, they are a sponge. They will soak up anything and everything that you do. Whatever they see you doing, oftentimes they'll copycat you, right? So essentially they are sponges and they are living in that unconscious mind space right now. So we learn from the people around us during that time in our childhood, how to act when we're happy, how to act when we're angry, what it takes to make money, how to best express ourselves, whether it's love or friendship, whether it's feeling sadness or depression, when it's safe to laugh, to sing, to shine, and when it's not. And we take these messages in from our surroundings. They become our automatic, under the surface view of our own reality, right? So what's real and true for me might not be for somebody else. So we'll continue to form new unconscious patterns as we grow in age, think of maybe a habitual skill that you've learned or mastered over the years. But the undercurrent of these patterns and beliefs are mostly set when we're in that young age, that 0 to 7 age range. And the best way to identify what unconscious programs you're running is simply to look at your life right now. Because as Bruce Lipton explains, it is made up of 95% of the programs that are running is basically your life right now. Your life is a printout of those programs from when you were growing up. And the things that you have in your life that you love are because you have programs that allow you to accept those things into your life. Anything that you work hard at, maybe that you struggle over or have put a lot of effort into and you find to be really difficult is because your programs don't support that in your life. Those programs that were learned 0 to 7. And your conscious mind is reaching for it, but something in your program is holding you back. You know, I work with clients oftentimes, they tell me, Lynn, I feel really stuck right now, or I self-sabotage, right? And so your conscious mind is reaching for it, but something is holding you back. And the effort and the struggle that you feel in trying to override that program, you're working hard because you actually do want it, but the undercurrent or the belief in the unconscious mind kind of says it's not going to happen, right? So old programs from childhood, how does it kind of affect you right now in your life as an adult? For example, what kind of messages do you think would be stored if you were rejected by someone you cared about when you were little? Your unconscious mind, that clever detective that it is, would immediately go hunting through your memories and find other examples of rejection. Like that time maybe your best friend dumped you to hang out with someone more popular at school, and draw the conclusion that somehow in the unconscious mind, somehow feelings of unworthy or feelings of being unlovable were brought up and you felt like you deserved to be rejected. But here's an interesting thing about that is that if you have an experience that conflicts with an already established belief, your unconscious mind will either reject it or reframe it so it goes along with your existence of view of your new reality. So let's just take an example, okay? So let's say that you have an underlying belief that, now I'm not saying consciously, this is kind of an unconscious belief that's in the background, an underlying belief that, let's just say you're unattractive. And a really attractive person expresses an interest in getting to know you better. Most likely the first thing that's going to pop into your head, because the unconscious mind will surface things, you might think to yourself, well, you know, this must be a joke or something, or maybe it's a cruel trick. You won't believe that this person could actually find you attractive because you actually believe in the unconscious, maybe from someone who teased you when you were little on the playground. Maybe you feel in the unconscious that you're unattractive. So beneath the surface of your conscious awareness, your unconscious mind is screaming at you, this person is way too attractive to be interested in me. Something isn't right here. Popping up going kind of danger, danger, right? The unconscious mind wants to protect us. It doesn't want to see us get hurt, right? So the unconscious mind moves towards pleasure and away from pain. So what most likely will happen in a situation like this, if this ever happened to you, is then you'll either reject that person before they can reject you, or you'll do something to sabotage what could have been maybe a really great relationship. The same thing happens sometimes when you struggle to achieve your goals. Eventually you start to believe that you're perhaps not capable of achieving them. So you come to expect failure and end up doing that over and over and over again. That becomes your experience, therefore it becomes your reality. So you can probably imagine some other situations where your unconscious mind limits you. What beliefs do you have that are limiting your limiting beliefs? The first step is to identify what they are. Then it's to work at changing those beliefs and reprogramming the unconscious mind so that it believes something different. And there's different modalities and things that you can do to help you do that, to do just that. So how do we change the programs that we've been given to create more of what we actually want? So Bruce Lipton actually shares a few different things on his website. And I'm going to share with you a few of them that I've used myself and with my clients. And one of them, of course, is the use of hypnosis. So we can recreate our theta state of receptivity and actually use it to reprogram our mind in a more conscious way. And the cool thing is that without you even knowing it, you are actually hypnotized over 100 times a day. And people go, wow, really? Yeah, because there's such a misconception of what hypnosis actually is. And we actually have access to the state of being really being 2 times a day. So where we can actually hypnotize ourselves, because as we go to sleep at night, we have to go through the brainwave states of hypnosis to get to sleep. So the best time to listen to an audio or to listen to a recorded hypnosis tape of what you want for yourself is before you go to sleep. Because then the unconscious mind at nighttime is also going to work at what you want for yourself when you're asleep at night. So the theta window is our most receptive state and responds well to, of course, the visions and suggestions that we hold in this space and in our mind. A great time to do visualization exercises as well as at nighttime before you go to sleep. And of course, first thing in the morning when you wake up, you have to go through the hypnotic state in order to become fully awake in the morning. So oftentimes, sitting up in bed doing a little visualization just as you're kind of waking up in the morning is also a great time. Now, visualization and repetition is also key. So an interesting fact is the unconscious mind doesn't know the difference between what's vividly imagined and what's actually real. So another method of reprogramming your unconscious mind towards positive change is to practice new thoughts and actions with feeling. So that's the key. You have to practice it with feeling. What emotions do you feel when you visualize what you want? What do you see, hear, and feel? The more senses that you can bring into the experience, the better. So you want to practice this with feeling and repeat it throughout the day as though you're learning a new skill or building a new muscle. So as Bruce Lipton says, this can't just be a sticky note on the mirror. It must be a felt experience. This can be difficult if we're experiencing great contrast to the thing that we want, right? So if you want something, but there's a huge disbelief that you can have it, then languaging what you want is really important so that the unconscious mind will begin to believe it. So oftentimes when I'm working with clients, I bring in the law of attraction and I'll say to them, you know, one way to word what it is that you want, firstly, is identifying specifically in a column everything that you want. And then oftentimes we're always in a process, aren't we? So I would say, I'm in the process of attracting and allowing my ideal blank, my ideal outcome, my ideal health, my ideal career or business, my ideal whatever it might be that you want, that you're working on. We're always in a process. So I'm in the process of attracting, creating, allowing this ideal blank, right? And so there's a whole process to doing that. So saying just kind of like an affirmation might not work so well, because if the unconscious mind doesn't believe it to be true, then it's not going to happen, right? So it's bringing feeling into it and languaging it in the proper way so that the unconscious mind is going to be congruent with the conscious mind. And that's how to make things really happen. So another thing that Dr. Bruce Lipton talks about, and myself with different trainings that I've done, is energy healing. Because everything around us, everything within us, we are energy. Everything is energy. And so different energy healing, such as, and I'm sure you've heard of Reiki, energy healing. I do what's called emotion code energy healing, getting trapped emotions that are vibrating inside of the body, out of the body, that might be causing either physical, mental, or emotional distress. Other people, I'm not trained in it specifically, but other people use EFT, emotional freedom technique, which is the tapping on different meridians. Another one is theta healing, to name just a few. So these are different modalities and approaches that can work and are all unique. We are all unique. So people need to maybe try different ones to see what works best for them. Because something that might really work well for me maybe won't for the next person. It's all individual, okay? So, you know, getting out there and being open-minded to different things. You can try different approaches, different modalities, and see what's going to best work for you. Another thing that Bruce Lipton states, that while many of these approaches were initially passed off as New Age science, is now revealing rapid, measurable, and actual lasting results. And so I encourage you today, if you're able to take 5 minutes before bed, to visualize and feel, maybe even hear, right, what it is you want for yourself for the next day. Set up your day with an intention. See yourself going through your day with ease. If you've got a meeting, if you've got something coming up at work, see yourself in that meeting being confident, getting your message across the way you want it to, receiving feedback the way you want. See it all happening the way you want it, feeling the feelings and really visualizing it. And then the next day, seeing how it unfolds to be true for you, because you can create your own reality. And this is just one way to help you to do that. So I'm going to end with, of course, a quote from Bruce Lipton, Dr. Bruce Lipton. And it states that we are not victims of anything other than the programs we're operating from. Change the programs that you're operating from. If your unconscious mind matches the wishes and desires of the conscious mind, your life will be one continuous honeymoon experience for as long as you live on this planet. So that is from Dr. Bruce Lipton. So I encourage you to work with your unconscious mind and talk, and it sounds weird, talk to yourself, right? So you go to bed, you talk to yourself, you encourage yourself. That unconscious mind is that little 5 or 6-year-old girl or boy inside of you. And when the unconscious mind does exactly what you want it to do, helping you, you want to thank it, right? Or if it brings up a feeling, a gut feeling that you get of danger, danger, something's not right here, thank the unconscious mind for that. Say, thank you for bringing this to my attention, for bringing this to my conscious awareness, so I can now deal with it, okay? So I'm wishing you a great week ahead. It is Monday. Begin to communicate with your very powerful unconscious mind. And I'd love to hear any feedback that you have. And we'll talk to you soon. lynthayer.com. Bye for now.